All right, folks, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Little technical glitch there. Gotta love technology, but we are back. Let's get airborne. Really fired up for this free week of training. Why am I fired up? Because first of all, I'm always fired up. But second of all, because based on feedback from some prior free training that we do called Full Throttle, folks are like, hey, man, kind of don't know what options are and kind of just new to stocks. So this one is going to be geared a little bit more towards beginners, folks that are just getting airborne in investing or trading and all that stuff, and want to give you a nice level set, a foundation to build up from. So apologize for my voice. If you're familiar with me or Topkin Options at all, we are rabid Florida Panthers fans. We actually have a Topkin Options suite that was packed last night. So, folks, we are one game away from defeating the Hurricanes and heading to the Stanley Cup Finals. Hasn't happened since 1996 when I was a young lieutenant on, 95, young lieutenant on the USS Abraham Lincoln, and then 96, quick turnaround. I deployed on the Kitty Hawk, so in my mid-20s. So kind of a big deal for us down here in South Florida. Not a big basketball guy, but the Heat, we are exactly the same. So the Miami Heat is 3-0, and they are one game away from heading to the NBA championship. And guess what? We were both number 8 seeds. We aren't even supposed to be here. And the Panthers are the odds-on favorite to win the Cup. So just absolutely thrilled with what's going on down here in South Florida. So getting airborne. This is – I love doing this, right? I love putting the ladder down. I love helping people because a lot of bad going on right now, okay? And I'm doing my best, which you'll learn about in a couple minutes, to help as many people as I can to stop what's going on in the world and the United States. In the world and the United States right now, folks, we are going straight down and accelerating, right? We are going straight down everywhere. War, hate, poverty, inflation. I mean, we'll get into all of it, but I have hope. Right? And I'll brief you on what our foundation does here in a little bit, but I have hope because there's a lot of people who are wanting to step up, to heal each other, and make the world a better place. So I do have hope, but I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to make money off the stupidity of others, and we're going to make money as bad things happen. If you got a problem with that, like Gordon Gekko said in the movie Wall Street, if you want a friend, go get a dog. I'm going to teach you how to make money off bad things. Because as an options trader, as an American, I don't like bad. As an options trader, bring it. I love it. So my mission objective for the free trade briefs this week, I'm going to show you how the rest of 2023 can be your most profitable year ever, especially if you're new to investing. And what we do here, we kind of have our own proprietary trading methodology and a risk management process. And I'm going to teach that stuff to you right now. Here's the flight schedule for the week. We're in our welcome aboard brief, and I'm going to give you some basics of investing and trading. And we're going to take a look at a trade, a little bit of a trade towards the end, because unless you've been on the other side of Mars for the past month, we are in a debt ceiling countdown, right? I'm just surprised CNBC or CNN or whoever, Fox, hasn't started putting the countdown clock on the screen. Remember, we used to do that under Obama and John Boehner, or Speaker, what's his name? Get ready for the countdown clock, because technically on June 1st, folks, we run out of money. We're bankrupt. I mean, technically, right now, we are bankrupt, and we're bankrupt-er, going more bankrupt, but nobody cares. Anyway, so we got a lot to cover with that. So we're going to cover a potential trade in a little bit that's going to make money when Washington really acts or does not act on their stupidity. Tomorrow, I'm going to, after we talk about the basics of the market and stocks, tomorrow, building block approach, we're going to talk about options. Options, folks, are beautiful. Why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? That's what trading options, right? If it flies, floats, or fornicates, you rent it or faces the ocean. I'm going to teach you how to rent a stock. Instead of using a ton of money to buy a stock, and stocks can go to zero, I'm going to show you how to use something that we call an option instead. You use options all the time. Even if you don't know what options are, you use them in real estate, you use them all over the place. And I'm going to give you the basics of options, and then Thursday, building block approach, crawl, walk, run, I'm going to show you a little bit about spreads and how we can use options to profit. Okay, you're registered for all three of these briefs. It's the same link for the whole week. So, and you'll get an email reminder, I think, an hour before every brief or whatever. But you have the same link for all of this. Quick admin items. You're in what's called GoToWebinar. Since we have like 600 people registered, we can't be in what is called GoToTraining. In GoToTraining, you can see each other's chat. We all have a good time. That's kind of my members only webinar platform. This is called GoToWebinar, and you can't see each other's chat. You can chat with me, but you can't chat with each other because it ends up getting swamped. Okay. Over on your little control panel over there on the right, or wherever it is, there's a handout section. Okay. So kind of open that up right now, and for free. And usually we charge for this stuff, or it's included for our members. Again, I'm putting the ladder down to help you out. There's a trade plan in there. There's a 1-pager, there's a 9-line, and then there's our full longer trade plan. I've been doing this. I hate aging you know what? I love aging myself, man. I'm whining, and I'm getting better with time. In my over 3 decades of doing this and helping retail professionals, you name it, hedge fund managers, the number one mistake, especially out of folks who are new to investing, not having a plan, man. I'm wearing on the back of my Topkin Options instructor shirt, on the back, I can't do yoga right now. It says trading is combat. Trading is a form of combat. Somebody's going to win and somebody's going to get their ass handed to them. Which one do you want to be? Well, if you want to be the one who wins, why wouldn't you use the same methodologies that we use in combat, right? And ain't nothing going on in combat without a plan. I get it. No good plan survives the first bullet shot at it from the enemy, but it's something to deviate from and to fall back on. Okay, so I'm going to so there's our trade plan. We're going to go through all this stuff as over the next couple days. The replay page. Wiz, I showed up late. I can't come tomorrow. I can't come Thursday. Don't worry about it. I got your 6 covered. Here is the replay page. Okay. Now, currently on the replay page is our last quarter training. So that's, you can ignore that. Or if you're bored, you can go watch it. But all the everything from this week will be on this page. Okay, I'll delete all these old videos, but this is the replay page. go.topgunoptions.com/FT replay. That stands for full throttle replay, because you're kind of in full throttle pseudo training right now. So that's the replay page. Finally, if you're really, really brand new, you know what? Let me do that first. Now that we've started and there's there's people in here, let's go ahead and I have a couple of polls, questions, polls. There we go. Let me. I want to. I need to kind of know which way to go real quick, and this helps me for the week. So, what's your investing knowledge right now? Okay, brand new to investing. Currently invest, and I kind of know stocks, mutual funds, ETFs. Hey, I know stocks and a little bit of options, puts and calls, or, I'm a Jedi master. Do me a favor and go ahead and answer that real quick so I can get a flavor for what I'm doing here. And that gives me an excuse to have a sip of my coffee with our No Fallen Heroes logo on it. Brand new, man. Don't even know what the stock market is. Kind of invest a little bit 401k-ish. I invest in stocks and options, or I'm a Jedi master. So about 30 more seconds, and we'll be good to go. Game 4 tomorrow night with the Panthers. I think the Heat game 4 is tonight. Or no. Yeah. How about LeBron James? I can't stand LeBron James. I'm so glad that dude got swept. He needs to go, man. Okay. About 5 seconds left. New. know a little bit of knowledge, kind of know what I'm doing, or I really know what I'm doing. All right, here we go. Let me close that one, and I'll share it with y'all. So look at that. So half, about 83% kind of know what they're doing and stuff like that. About 7% brand new. So I'm going to push it up a little bit, but I'm not going to leave you all in the dirt. Okay. So that's good. This is good knowledge to know. I'm very happy with that. Steven, your Florida is kicking the crap out of my Boston this year. Steven, if you go to my Instagram, you can go see who I've had in my suite a couple times this year, Bobby Orr. So he's what a great dude. And I will tell you, Steven, game three, Bobby Orr came to, and he called me the next day to say, hey, thanks, Wiz, for inviting us to your suite, blah, blah, blah. And I said, hey, Bobby, do you want to come to Friday's game? And this is the exact quote. Wiz, your boys ain't coming back from Boston. So needless to say, Edward Matthew Buckley, call sign Wiz, I texted him and threw shade on the world's and history's best hockey player. I gave him grief. That's pretty funny. So God takes care of fools, drunks, and sailors. So I threw shade on Bobby Orr. Anyway, so if you are really, really new to the 7% or whatever, if you don't have a brokerage account yet, let me give you a link. Wiz, what the hell's an option? Perfect. Go to etrade.com/TOPGUN. Okay. That's easy to remember. etrade.com/TOPGUN. And you can open an account. I think it's $1,000 to fund it. But go to here because we negotiated some pretty good discount rates. Because I trade my personal portfolios here, my kids, my wife. I know I send them a lot of business, and they gave us a good deal on rates. Okay. You also, if you open an E-Trade account for $1,000, I think it is, you get a paper trading account, which we're going to talk about. You have got to listen to me. Hopefully you read the disclaimer at the beginning of this brief. I am not a registered investment advisor. I'm not a broker dealer. I don't play one on TV. I don't want to be either of those people. Why? Because no one cares more about your money than you, period. And I love when my registered investment buddies or those broker dealers, they get their nose out of joint when I say this, right? Wiz, we have a fiduciary duty to our client. No. If you care more about somebody's money than them, you have an idiot for a client. So at Topkin Options, you're going to get to eavesdrop on what I'm doing, managing my model portfolios, my personal accounts. I'm not telling you what to do, man. I'm teaching you to be a single-seat fighter pilot, a single-seat trader. I didn't fly a two-seat Hornet, man, but we flew with other Hornets, right? A section or a division. So we had what was called mutual support. But at the end of the day, you are the pilot in command of your portfolio, not me. Okay? John, I'm not sure you'd have to reach out to E-Trade support if you can just move that over. I have no clue. All right, so let's go ahead and press forward here. Make sure kind of silence your distractions, the electronic nicotine, because this is important stuff we're going to talk about here. Like I said, this shouldn't be shocking to you, but it kind of is. Right? I don't understand this. This is why you can learn how to do this. This ain't hard. Like I said, trading is a form of combat. Why should you listen to me? Over the past 12 years-ish that Topkin Options has been in business, we're looking at over $6 million in profitable positions, in profitable trades. The COVID crash was obscene. Wrote a book about it. $2.5 million off the stupidity of others. I'm going to show you how in the next couple days the wrong trading instrument can kill your portfolio and doing things wrong. What's the first rule of investing? Don't even type it out. You don't have to waste your typing time. Not to lose money. For those of you that were about to type to make money, you failed, but you can redeem yourself. What's rule number 2? See rule number 1. Do not lose money. Now, you're going to get a lot of wizisms this week. What are those? They might sound kind of stupid, but they're brilliant. Here's wizism number 1. You can't make money if you're losing money. Blindingly stupid, but brilliant, because I see people make this mistake all the time. Combat proven success here. This isn't for everyone, right? There is some work involved. If you ever attend one of these briefs, I'm one of the only guys that opens up for like a full week. Don't charge anything. Why? Because death by PowerPoint sucks. And usually those quote unquote competitors that give you death by PowerPoint show you what? Things in the past. Cherry picked. Not me. I show you everything live during the week. I get a losing trade, you see a losing trade. I get a winning trade, you see it live, right? But you are going to have to put in some effort. If you go to one of these briefs and the lady or the dude is talking about all we do is win and this and that and everything like that, and it's really easy, you don't really have to spend any time doing it, they're lying to you. This is training. I was trained as a fighter pilot. Doctors are trained. Plumbers are trained, right? This is you need a little bit of training. Now, once you get there, like getting my wings as a naval aviator, you're airborne and you get better. But there's some initial elbow grease required. I am not going to lie to you. But once you get that, you're good to go. Who am I? Because, when I looked this morning, we had about 172 new leads, new people coming in here. Folks, I'm Wiz, Matthew Buckley, flew the Hornet for the Navy, graduated from the Navy Fighter Weapons School that many of you know as Top Gun, as an adversary pilot. I was a bad guy. I had a blast. So there's kind of 2 Top Gun courses, the good guy and gal course and the bad guy. Right? So as a bad guy, I'd fly against the good guys going through Top Gun, and I learned how to be a bad guy. And it was really cool because you had to be a really, really, really good guy in order to be selected to be an instructor bad guy. So it was really cool. So I had a blast doing all that stuff. What's this have to do with trading? Everything. You don't join the Navy to get rich. You join the Navy to serve your country and see the world, I was told, right? I was always interested in finance, though. Stocks, options, guys were sitting in the ready room talking about sports. I'm reading the Wall Street Journal, and I started applying everything I was learning as a fighter pilot to my trading, having a strategy, implementing tactics, contingency planning, managing risk. All right, this dude's showing a picture of himself inverted over the skies of Nevada, and he's talking about managing risk. Yeah. First of all, I love myself too much to let anything bad happen to me. Second of all, I don't want to fail. Right? You have to manage risk. So if step 1 in investing is don't lose money, step 2 is don't lose money, step 3 is manage risk. I think the 4th or 5th objective is to make money. If you do 1 through 4, you are going to make money. So Topkin Options came about, folks, as a result of a horrific tragedy in our nation's history. No, not January 6th, right? Because Kamala Harris says that January 6th was worse than 9/11 and worse than Pearl Harbor combined. Don't even want to dignify that. But my first flight as a pilot for American Airlines was the morning of September 11th, which was one of the worst days in our nation's history. Saw the plane hit, second plane hit, knew we were under attack. I raced out to Naval Air Station Fort Worth, where I was flying F-18s for the Naval Reserve, and we ended up flying combat air patrol over the Southwest United States. So I went from potentially flying in an airliner that day to shooting one down, to maybe even shooting down a squadron mate. In my reserve squadron, out of the 17, 18 pilots, I think 15 of them were airborne that day or going to work for the airlines. Me and a couple dudes that weren't. Boom. Imagine being ordered to shoot down an airliner, let alone one, with you all in it or your best friend flying it. It was just absolutely surreal. But guess what? A week later, I got a photocopied letter from American Airlines HR that said, "Dear crew member, you're furloughed." And of course, furloughed is polite airline speak for laid off. So laid off, had a young wife, my young son. I had to provide, man. So I had to shake it off and said, let's go. So I was trading part-time, but really, really well. Why was I trading really, really well? Because of everything I'm going to teach you. This ain't rocket surgery. Everything was going so well, from my business consulting to my trading, that I popped up on the radar of a volatility arbitrage firm right here. That was our trading firm, right? If you don't know, if you don't watch Batman, what is that? That's the Chicago Board of Trade, folks. Right. And that was our trading firm right there. That's the intersection of Jackson and LaSalle. I helped build a hedge fund when I was there. I helped build the retail brokerage known as Options House. And it just had an absolute blast. I was the managing director of strategy, and I also started the Options News Network, kind of the CNBC for options. We gave a behind-the-scenes look at what was going on in the Board of Trade and the options exchange behind the scenes, man. I gave people like you the intel, the gouge that the quote smart money wouldn't tell you. And I jokingly tell people I felt like Valentine. I was Eddie Murphy in Trading Places. But guess what I found, folks? There is no such thing as the smart money. The quote legendary investors ain't that legendary, folks. We'll share with you a couple times throughout the week just the absolute stupidity of the smart money. Trust me, when I'm sitting in these rooms looking around going, these people are pretty stupid, and I'm an idiot, there is no such thing as a smart money. We are the smart money. That's a picture of my family before we left Chicago to come start Topkin Options. I share that because that was awesome. That's essentially when I said, you know what? Ain't no such thing as a smart money. I can do this on my own and help other people. Matthew is 22 now, graduated from the Military College of Vermont. He's hopefully going to officer candidate school for the Navy in the fall. Jack is going to CU Boulder in August. He's going Navy ROTC, wants to follow his father and his brother as well. Keely is 15, going on 29. She's a cheerleader. She's not allowed to leave the house. So that's my family. Topkin Options. What's it look like, and what are we diving into this morning, Wednesday and Thursday? We're going to be on the left side of the fence. I'm going to train you what the market is, kind of what stocks are, what options are, and how you can apply them for profit. That's why we're here. We want to make money. So in the training environment, I shared that link with you. You want to open an E-Trade account or a brokerage account somewhere that has a paper trading platform. Why? I'm not going to read a book on aerodynamics, run out to the flight line, and jump into an F-18 Hornet. If I was lucky enough to get airborne, I'd be dead in 5 minutes. I'd crash, right? You can't do that. Same thing with your money, with real capital. You have got to go to what we call the simulator building. After we did academics and studied about the F-18, we went across the street to a big domed simulator, and we did everything in there. Startup, emergency procedures, landing aboard the ship, air-to-air combat, dropping bombs. We did all of that in that environment because our little pink bodies don't want to go out and just try that for the first time in an airplane. This is what you need to do, okay? You don't put any real capital at risk after I train you until you're ready to put capital at risk. Don't do it. Right? So over on the training side of the fence, we have a service called Solo Amazon, which we only trade, fill in the blank, Amazon. Watched Bugs Bunny growing up, who's buried in Grant's tomb. So, and then we have what's called Full Throttle. I'll explain these later as we go on. I'm just kind of giving you the lay of the land of what we do here at Topkin Options. Then once you're trained, you can jump that Chinese wall, so to speak. And we have a couple investment clubs. One's called the Hunters and one is called Max Afterburner. And that is our lifetime membership, kind of down the road for it. I wouldn't even think about that right now. So what do we do on a weekly basis here? How do I teach people about investing or stocks or options? We have what are called live trade briefs. Okay. We have the primary live trade brief. Let me just open all these up to show you what a weekly flight schedule looks like. Every Monday at 10 a.m., Solo Amazon. Tuesday at 10 a.m., technically you're sitting in a primary live trade brief. And then Wednesday, it's called weekly options. And then Thursday is our more, supposed to be our more conservative portfolio called accelerated retirement, longer dated trades and stuff like that. Okay. Real quick, just a little bit more about me, and then we're going to get into the investing and the training. Why do I do this? So I never have to do it again. Once you kind of hear who I am, you can put it behind you and forget about it. But it's funny to me, I go to these things. I'm doing one Saturday, I think, like, hey, do you want to speak for 42 minutes at our investor conference? There's 8 speakers, and you're all back to back. I'm like, yeah. Why do I do that? Because they send you the leads. Do I want to do that? No, to be honest with you. If you buy something from somebody after 42 minutes of presentation and you didn't see what they actually do, you didn't watch them in an air show, you're an idiot, in my opinion. So no offense. Let me just knock this out of who I am. Because if you're going to learn to train from somebody, anything, yoga, I do yoga, I do breath work, I do medicine work. I figure out who the people are, right? So I'm also the Max Afterburner podcast host. If you're a podcast person, you like sitting in traffic or working out, go to the Max Afterburner podcast, and it will blow you away. We are ranked in the top 2% of podcasts in the world. Now, you don't have to go Google, because I did that when the podcast studio told me this. I'm like, so? They're like, all right, how many podcasts are in the world? 3.1 million. I'm going to be pretty proud that we're in the top 2% at that point. Written a couple books. One's called From Sea Level to Sea Level, how I went from the military, flying fighter jets, to the corner office of a Wall Street firm in Chicago. And then COVID crash, self-explanatory. I haven't found anybody else, and I've documented it. We have live trade briefs. I have my trades. I have everything. Predicted the COVID market crash to the day. Why? Because I did outsider trading. What? No, insider. No. Insider trading is illegal unless you're a U.S. senator. You remember that time? A couple senators left a classified briefing in a skiff and went to the microphones, and what did they say? Same thing Donald Trump was saying at the time, which was a lie. Everything's fine, not coming here. China, it's no China flu. I trust Xi. Xi's a good dude, great bat swing, been to Mar-a-Lago. That's a dumb question. Move on. What did the senator say? Everything's fine. No need to panic. Not coming here. And then what did those senators do? They got on this thing and called their wife, their kids, their best friends, and said, get out. Which, if you had done that, you'd be in jail. What did I do? I knew what they were hearing, and I told everybody. I did outsider trading. And you know what happened? We made millionaires. Literally, little old ladies in tennis shoes became millionaires at Topkin Options. Do you remember that market crash? Every day. Donald Trump, I still have the tweet. He deleted. I have a screenshot of it. Stocks are looking good here. I'd be a buyer of stocks here. I'm like, is that the president of the United States tweeting to buy stocks right now? The next day, the Dow was down 3,000 points. It was disgusting how much money we made. So as a result of disgusting and how much money we made, who said that to whom much is given, much is required? 3 years ago, with that gift from God, what did I do? I said, I'm done. It'll be easier for a camel to pass through an eye of a needle than a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. I started the No Fallen Heroes Foundation. Lost 3 of my buddies to suicide. 3 F-18 Hornet fighter pilots. Anywhere from 22 to 44 veterans killed themselves every day. The mission objective of my foundation, the No Fallen Heroes Foundation, is to bring that number down to 0. How do we do that? You're going to be blown away. We do psychedelic assisted therapy. Where do you do that? Not in the United States, because it's a crime. I got back last Friday afternoon from Costa Rica. I took 3 veterans, 2 dependents to Costa Rica to heal. Go to the Max Afterburner podcast. I don't want to spend too much more time talking about this, but I did the medicine. My 2-year anniversary was May 20th. 2 years ago, on May 20th, I went down to Mexico, drove from San Diego to Mexico with Marcus Luttrell, If you've seen the movie Lone Survivor or read the book, you know who Marcus Luttrell is, famous Navy SEAL. So Marcus, myself, Jared Taylor. If you drink Black Rifle coffee, you know who Jared Taylor is. Another Navy SEAL veteran and a football player whose name is Robert Gallery, All-America from Iowa and 8 years in the NFL, and that dude looked like he was dead. He was a dead man walking. Horrific CTE to his brain. And I will tell you that 2 years later, I have never been a better husband, father, or human being. Period. This is the way. We're going to talk Thursday, getting bullish on the psychedelic space. You want to be bullish on something into the future as the world and everybody hurtles straight down? It's psychedelics. And if the term psychedelic kind of makes you turn your head sideways, guess what? You've been indoctrinated. Thank you, Richard Nixon, and your bullshit war on drugs because of the Vietnam War. You can't be a free thinker. You can't see another person as a soul and not a North Vietnamese soldier. Let's outlaw those things. Oh, okay. So my mission objective, folks, is to turn warriors into peacemakers. And it did it to me. All right, that's enough. Let's go ahead and get airborne. On your screen right now is what? It's an F-18 Hornet. Sitting on a flight deck, what is it? It's nothing. It's an inanimate object, isn't it? But when you put it in the hands of somebody who's been trained and has the proper intelligence, it is a lethal weapon. It's a pretty cool lethal weapon. But again, war is a horror. So, it was really weird a couple months ago. When was that? The Lockheed or Boeing, whoever rolled out the new, what was that bomber? Whatever it's called, B-21. And it was like a party. I didn't get that. It was like rolling out this bomber, and it was like EDM music and smoke, and everybody celebrating. I'm like, we're. It was weird. It was like a pagan god thing. It was like we're worshiping a thing that's only reason for existence is to turn somebody else into a hair, teeth, and eyeballs. Anyway, don't want to get on that tangent. But anyway, in the hands, I have a lot of tangents, so you got to hang out with me. So in the hands of somebody skilled, when I train you how to invest, how to trade, you're going to be a lethal weapon as well. So how do we do this? How do we invest? What are the markets? All that type of stuff. Well, hopefully you have just a little bit of an idea of what the market is and stocks. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, kind of old and stodgy. And if you watch CNBC, there's still dudes and ladies on the floor. They are nothing but show. So open outcry, except for the commodities market, is open outcry means what? Like the movie Trading Places. Guys and gals in a trading pit yelling back and forth about price, right? That was the old days. Late 90s, early 2000s, they started to computerize trading. When I went to Chicago in 2006, my firm, we still had a pit. We had a seat and a pit. And even those guys, we ended up pulling off the floor because it's all computerized. There's no need to be yelling back and forth at each other, right? And it's interesting to me because out of the 12 guys that we brought off the floor upstairs to trade, half of them couldn't do it. Why? Because it was clicking. It was quiet, and they were like sitting there staring at a screen. They didn't get any yelling or back and forth or emotion behind the prices. Right? If something's going on, some news breaks out, everybody starts, hey, I want to buy that. You can feel it. But right now, if you walked into my old firm up there in Chicago today, hundreds of people, just kind of hushed whispers and clicks. That's the sound of capitalism now, right? So you probably have a little bit of an idea about the stock market, right? You can invest in any public company. Growing up, I'd be eating my Apple Jacks with my dad's, paper in my face, and on the back of the Atlantic City Press were stock quotes. I was like, what are those hieroglyphics? My dad said, well, son, if you if you want to, invest in McDonald's, you can be a shareholder. McDonald's will take your money and invest it and do something with it. And if they do something good with it, the stock price will go up, which means what you invested would go up. I was like, wow. So if I did that, I should eat more Happy Meals. I should kind of go to what the stuff I invest in. There you go. Step one of investing, folks, is invest in what you know. When I started my first investing in 1991, my God, 1991, I was at Naval Air Station Key West in Florida, the Aggressive Growth Mutual Fund at USAA. And then I got a little smarter. I'm like, I looked at the prospectus for this mutual fund and I saw all the positions in there, the stock names. I'm like, why am I paying somebody a fee to do that when I can do this on my own? Around the time, I was dating a beautiful young lady named Susie, who ends up to be my bride. But at the time, Susie loved Ann Taylor. I don't even know if that's still in business. Ann Taylor, and I would use my American Express card. Guess what? I'm like, well, she shops at Ann Taylor a lot. The stores seem to be crowded, and I'm paying the bill. First two stocks I bought, right? So there's just some investing basics. I have two hockey players. Both Matthew and Jack play hockey, and to and from the rink, they eat Chipotle probably 27 times a day. I mean, that's not close to an exaggeration. CMG, Chipotle Mexican Grill. So invest in what you know. You probably know a lot of things, especially if you're in a career field, right? That, hey, I'm in aerospace or I'm in pharmaceuticals or whatever. There are public companies that you are probably aware of. So you can be a shareholder in those names. Or you can do the exact opposite. You could actually what's called short those companies. Yeah, I am in this industry. And yeah, by the way, that company sucks and they're probably going to go out of business soon. You can make money investing in something that's going to go down. You don't have to be there's three ways to make money buying stocks, right? Yeah, there is. Buy, hope, and pray. Let me get rid of that for all the new folks. Yeah, you buy a stock, you hope it goes up. If it doesn't, you pray. That's stupid. Well, guess what? If it doesn't do those things, get out of that stock and do the exact opposite. You can short a stock, which we'll get into later. So that's just that's the market in 4 minutes. Okay. But here at Topkin Options, and as an aviator, I use a lot of acronyms. All right. So how do you invest? How do you trade? TFW. Train. The first thing you need to do is you got to be trained. You can't wake up, put on your bunny slippers, drink a cup of coffee and watch CNBC and go, I know what I'm doing. You can't. You got to get trained. Okay, so step one is training. Here's our methodology, okay? This ain't rocket surgery, folks. This is easy, but it's one of those wizisms, right? It's so brilliant that it's stupid. It isn't. It's called SOT, Strategic, Operational, Tactical. Even if you don't become a TGO member later in the week when I open up the doors, take this with you. This will help you. Why? Because the average retail investor or trader, meaning people like you, the unwashed masses to the Wall Street folks, you're very tactical. You do wake up, put your bunny slippers on, and watch CNBC and go, hey, what should I trade? I'm going to teach you how you should think about investing and trading. A lot of you don't even know what you're doing for lunch today, let alone what you should be investing in 2-3 years out into the future. Very, very tactical. I will teach you this is the way to invest and this is the way to trade. Trust me. SOT. Even if you don't join and come to our weekly live trade briefs, this is what you should do. Strategic. When you wake up, bunny slippers, coffee, you have got to pick up your binoculars and look downrange. Open up your radar scope and look at a strategic level what's going on around the globe. I guarantee you what is happening around the globe will impact your investment in Tesla, Amazon, Apple, whatever you are, whatever public company you like, they can be impacted from events around the world. So you should look at what's going on around the globe, economically, politically, and you ready for this? Militarily. For the second time in my life, the first time in the 80s when I was a kid, 70s and 80s, I thought we were going to be vaporized by nuclear weapons. Then for the middle portion of my life, that went away. The Soviet Union fell, peace, love, and understanding broke out. For the second time in my life, I believe there's a distinct possibility we can be vaporized. There is war in Europe. There is war coming in the Middle East between Israel and Iran. We're building nukes for peaceful purposes, but if we ever got like a nuke, we'd wipe Israel off the face of the planet. Israel, that will never happen. Dude, can somebody tell me those two people are going to meet at a table and go, everything's fine, you're right. China will invade Taiwan. Economically, around the globe, governments are bankrupt, central banks, boom. You have got to know what's going on around the globe. So in our live trade briefs, I spend, 5, 10, 15, depends on what's going on around the globe, minutes briefing this. At Topkin Options, I'm going to teach you to be an admiral or a general in investing, to sit there with a cigar in your mouth and listen to the brief. One of the best compliments I can get from TGO members is, I don't watch the news anymore. I get it from you, because I go out there and get all my independent stuff. Real quick, this is the most priceless thing besides my wife and kids, that I don't possess my wife and kids, but this thing is my key to success. My network, Pentagon, Washington, Wall Street, you name it, different industries. It is all about networking and intel gathering. It's absolutely critical to have a good strategic picture. Now, after that 10, 15-minute brief, part of the brief, we're going to get operational, peel back the layers of the onion and take a look at here. What's going on domestically, economically, and politically? I don't want to hear your politics. I really don't care if you agree or disagree. You have got to hear them. Politics drives the market. The reason, ladies and gentlemen, we've been sitting in a holding pattern for the past couple days is what? Speaker of the House McCarthy and Joe Biden had a phone call, and it didn't go good. Market imploded. Folks, we have, 9 days before Janet Yellen, our Treasury Secretary, goes, we're officially broke. We've defaulted on our debt. Ain't nothing but politics in that, folks. I loved Barack Hussein Obama and the Republicans when they owned the House. Do you remember those government shutdowns? That was free money. I will teach you this week that we got long volatility. We got what's called bullish. We bought an instrument called the VIX, the Volatility Index, the Uncertainty Index. I'll show you this. When things aren't known and the market's getting a little creepy, this thing pops. And whenever is causing the market to freak out, goes away, it implodes, it goes down. So you can get bullish and get long volatility, and then you got to be early. As soon as you're like, you know what, I think that freak out's going to be over with, close that bullish position for profit and then get bearish on volatility, meaning you think it's going to go down. One of my famous examples was that Brexit vote. I got it wrong and made $22,000. Love being wrong and making $22,000. I thought they'd vote, to stay. They didn't. Didn't matter. I made $11,000 on a bullish volatility trade because as the vote approached, volatility went up. The markets were like, oh my God, what if they vote to leave? The world will end. It didn't. And then just before the vote was announced, I'm like, let's close that bullish trade. Steve Miller Band, go on, take the money and run. And then I said, let's get bearish. Now, some of you, besides our new folks who were here at the time, said what? Wiz, well, what if they vote to leave? Won't the volatility index go up even more? No. Write this wizism down. When something is known, it's known. Yeah. Soon as that vote came out, even though the vote was them to leave the EU, they imploded. Volatility imploded because it was known. So I'm going to teach you these basics, these blocking and tackling that most retail traders don't know. It's very frustrating. Like, wait a minute, that's bad news. They voted to leave and the VIX went down? Yeah, duh. So anyway, I don't know, 5, 10, 15 minutes of an operational brief. Okay, what's going on with the Fed? Jerome Powell, what's going on with interest rates, inflation, what's going on with earnings? So we peel that onion back, and then finally, the second half of our live trade briefs, we do what? We get tactical. That's when we can trade and pull out our trade plan. In your downloads over here, your handouts, you have 3 gifts from me. These will save your life in trading and make you money. If you are not trading with a trade plan, you're a fool. And I hope that offended you if you aren't. Do you think I hopped in an F-18 Hornet without a checklist and went, all right, let's go? Folks, you need a trade plan. I'm going to demonstrate this week, maybe today, we'll take a look at the time, that before I get into a trade, a position, an investment, I know when I'm getting out. Before I ever get in, I know when I'm leaving, either for max profit or what? Say it with me. Minimum loss. One of the number one things that retail traders do wrong is this. I'll meet somebody at a conference or a cocktail party. Oh, you trade? You teach people to trade? Well, I'm in this position. I'm in Apple, and it's making a shitload of money. When are you getting out? What are you talking about? It's making a shitload of money. It's not what I asked you. When are you getting out? I'm going to hold it forever. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. What is your profit target? Because if or when it turns and starts imploding, then what are you going to do? So, folks, I love hitting people with questions that my trade plan answers. I can tell when people don't trade with a trade plan because it's blindingly obvious. So I'm going to share with you, we're going to dig through my 7-step trade plan. Absolutely critical to success. And I love doing this because when I was you, back in the day, I'd go to, a brief or something like that, and the guy's like, you have to invest with a trade plan. All right, moving on. Buy my stuff. I'm like, what's your trade plan? Well, next question. Usually because they didn't have one. Mine was taken from the skies of Iraq and on Wall Street. Nice Reese's peanut butter cup. This trade plan is what you need to succeed, okay? So train. In our training this week and in general, when you become a member, we're going to look at some things. These are the big things that you need to kind of have an awareness of when you start investing or trading. Fundamentals. What does that word mean? It's the fundamentals of a stock. What are the fundamentals of the name, the company we're going to invest in? Fundamentals are the guts, the circulatory system, cash flow, EBITDA, all just the basic blocking and tackling. What are the fundamentals of the stock, okay, or the name that we're looking at? You also have to look at this word, volatility. Now, again, volatility is a word you can sound smart at cocktail parties. Delete the word volatility and put in the word uncertainty. As an options trader and investor, and I will teach you this, we love volatility. Here's another whiz sentence you can write down. When volatility is expensive, sell it. When volatility is cheap, buy it. That's common sense, right? If something's that you like is cheap, what do you do with it? Buy it. When there's something that you like that's very expensive now, shit hot, I'm going to sell it. The volatility index, the VIX, V-I-X, which if we have time, we'll go look at real quick, is extremely low. You know what? Let me just do that right now because I want to see what the VIX is trading at right now because I'm into my brief and I'm itching because I haven't looked at my stuff yet. So, ladies and gentlemen, here you go. Here is the VIX, the volatility index. Let me open this chart up to 5 years. It's called the CBOE, Chicago Board Options Exchange, Market Volatility Index. VIX, V-I-X. Again, ditch the word volatility and put in uncertainty. Look at the uncertainty index. What do you notice about it? Well, if you know just your basic stock, you know what? Let's go look at Apple real quick, right? Apple. Look at a 5-year chart of Apple. What do most stocks do if they're good stocks? They move up and to the right. They go up in value. They go up in price. Most stocks, unless they really suck, go up in price. Unlike a Peloton, who told you to remember at the height of the financial crisis, Peloton, oh my God, it's the smartest thing in the world. I'm like, you're an idiot. Short Peloton. It was a $170 stock. It's at $7. I told you to pound Peloton into the dirt. We're not going to be locked up forever, and those expensive things are going to be your wet clothes drying system. Nailed it. Anyway, let's go back to the VIX. Why? Because the VIX, ladies and gentlemen, when you look at it, is what? It's a heart rate monitor. Beep, 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 beep. What are the beeps? The beeps are something happened to freak the market out. The other beep is the whatever was freaking the market out went away. Okay, so it returns, the volatility index returns to its mean, its average. Okay, before what happened right here, folks, say it with me, COVID. Before COVID, our resting heart rate of the VIX was kind of down here around 12 or something like that. Then what happened? We're all going to die from COVID. No, we're not. But look at this, folks. Look at what's going on. It goes up and down. This is like shooting fish in a barrel. So if you're new to trading and investing, for all my 25% people out there, this is critical knowledge for you to have right now. Why am I spending a lot of time on the VIX? Well, because I'm going to tell you right now, based on our strategic, operational, and tactical mindset, if you took 2006 Wiz from the Chicago Board of Trade and dropped him into Boca Raton, Florida in 2023, and you gave me a quick brief. There's war in Europe, and there's about to be potential nuclear war between Russia and NATO. Israel, Iran, China, Taiwan. Inflation is so high that my sister Monica was still alive. We are at 40-year high inflation. The Federal Reserve is cranking up interest rates. We're going into, if we're not already, in a recession. And we have an octogenarian in the White House whose vice president is a quota hire. And if you gave me that quick brief and said, what do you think the VIX is at? My answer would be 90. If you just gave me that brief, I'd say, oh my God, the VIX is what, 80, 90? 17. Now, if that's confusing to you, remember what I said the VIX is. It's the uncertainty index. Guess what? Everything I just briefed you is known. Wiz, you ain't telling me anything new. Everything you just briefed, I know. That's why the VIX is so low right now. Comma, when, not if, when one of those things gets even worse, the VIX will explode. If the clown car does not come to a complete stop before June 1st and we actually default on our debt, the VIX will be at 40 or 50. The S&P 500 will crash 500 points. Can that happen? Yeah. Will it? You got Democrats and Republicans both saying, oh, we're not going to let that happen. Be careful with how stupid people can be. So anyway, let me get back to this real quick because I want to keep us on time. Don't want to go too long. But volatility. So I'm going to teach you as a new investor, as a trader, to look at the fundamentals of a company. I got to be honest with you. The fundamentals of a company is kind of my dad's stock market. I remember years ago, Amazon's PE, its price to its earnings. It's a little bit of a ratio that investors will look at to say, hey, that company is cheap or expensive. Their stock price is really high and their earnings suck. Well, I wouldn't buy that. Or their price is really low and their earnings are good. Oh, I'd buy that stock. So price to earnings. But guess what? Fundamentals went out the door like years ago. Amazon. Amazon is a perfect example. A couple years ago, they were a $3,500 stock before they split. Their earnings, you ready for this? Weren't that good. Their PE was like 3,000. They had to add another digit on the Trade Monster platform because the people who designed the system are like, double digit PEs are high, triple digits are obscene. Amazon. So I will teach you, though, that you can't look at just one of these instruments. This is what I'm getting at. I'm going to show you a trading cockpit. You got a bunch of different instruments to look at. One is fundamentals, another is volatility, and I'll train you on this. Technical analysis, TA, okay? Briefly, technical analysis, you probably see it sometimes on CNBC or TV, right? Hey, let's go to Carter Worth or whatever that. What a trader name. My name's Carter Worth. But folks, look at this. This kind of looks like the human circulatory system, right? But there are a group of people out there who, and where do we make money, folks? For all of you who are new, where do we make money on this screen? The screen you're looking at right now, where do we make money? Right here. This, ladies and gentlemen, already happened. This is the left side of the chart. To date, I haven't found any brokerage firm on the planet that lets you trade off the left side of a chart. Where do we make our money, folks? Right here. X marks the spot. So, if you mentioned technical analysis in my firm up in Chicago, they would have thrown you out of a window, right? They'd say we used to burn witches too. But there is something to be said for looking at this. These three veinous systems down here, that is the 50-day moving average of the S&P. I'm looking at the S&P 500. If you're new, S&P 500 is Standard & Poor's 500. It's an index of 500 large companies. The Russell 2000, fill in the blank, is what? 2,000 stocks, mid-sized to smaller companies. I, for as long as I can remember, have been an S&P 500 guy. I'm not a Dow Jones guy, kind of old and stodgy. To me, the S&P 500 is the meat. It is the engine of this economy. So we are looking at a chart of the S&P 500. That's the 100-day moving average, and that's the 200-day moving average. I'll teach you what all those things are, but take a look at this. It seems like we haven't touched one of these moving averages in a long time. We're kind of up here. And this, ladies and gentlemen, it kind of feels what? So look at that. Anybody see that? 4,200 back in February, the beginning of February, was where we peaked. And then we had an implosion. Now we've kind of climbed out of the gutter. And it looks like 4,200 is turning into what you will start calling resistance. When a stock starts hitting the ceiling or running out of altitude, they say it looks like the S&P 500 is hitting resistance up here. Okay? So I will teach you a little bit of technical analysis. We have one of our guest instructors, Bart, former Tomcat guy, who's lives in a pyramid. I mean, the guy's brilliant with the technical analysis stuff. So there is some technical analysis that I will teach you, but you don't need to be, legs crossed sitting in the pyramids of Giza figuring out technical analysis. And finally, our full throttle training briefs. I'm giving you a taste for the next couple days for free of some full throttle training. And then once you become a member, you get the No Kidding 8 full training briefs where we take a deep dive into all of this stuff, deeper than obviously you're going to get with here as a freebie, right? So that's kind of our training. Then we want to fight, right? In order to fight in this market, because trading is a form of combat, what do we need to do? I said it earlier. Step 1 and step 2, don't lose money. Don't lose money. Step 3, I said, was what? Manage risk. Look at that F-18 right there. That's a Canadian F-18 pilot. Air show practice, 200 feet, one of the motors failed. Jet immediately rolled into an angle of bank and was plummeting into the ground. In the blink of an eye, that guy pulled the ejection handle and was out of the airplane in his parachute. When did that young Canadian F-18 pilot make the decision to eject? You don't even have to waste your time because I'll give you the answer. It was not when the motor failed. It was not when the jet rolled through 90 degrees angle of bank. It was in the brief. This is why we have live trade briefs. In the brief, that guy sat there having his cup of coffee, his venti upside down caramel macchiato in the air conditioning doing what? All right, at this maneuver, if something happens, if I lose him, he went through all of it. Okay? When that engine failed at that low altitude, they actually did the math. If he had waited half a blink of an eye, he would have ejected into the ground. But ejecting when he did gave him enough of a parachute to survive. When do you manage risk and who needs to do it? You do. I, ladies and gentlemen, can't manage risk for you. I'm going to show you how I manage risk in my trades that you're going to get this week. I can't do that for you. In this squadron, I'm going to show you my SOP. What's an SOP? Standard operating procedure. We in the military say SOPs are what? They're written in blood. Little macabre, but it's the truth. When that F-18 flight manual, section 5, the emergency procedures section, when it left the flight line in the mid-'80s, it had like 3 pages. The booger eater engineers were like, these are the things that could happen, and here's the procedures. By the time I stopped flying the Hornet, the emergency procedures section was about 100 pages. Why? Shit happens, and it's usually bad. So I will teach you my SOP of investing and trading. Take it, leave it, change it, whatever you want, folks, but you have got to manage risk. Okay? The first question I'm going to show you when we get into our options trading is, how much can I lose? Look at that. When I show you a trade today or tomorrow, we'll see on time here. The first question isn't how much can I make, it's how much can I lose. If you are not comfortable with that potential loss, you don't do the trade. It's always amazing to me. People are like, oh my God, I'm worried about that trade. If you're worried about that trade, you're trading too large. You risked too much. Now, in all of my trades, my personal trades or my portfolio trades, I don't like losing money, but I trade an amount in my SOP that I go, that sucked, but not, oh my God, I'm going to die. Makes sense? First rule of investing, we already talked about it. And the second rule, my mission objective, folks, is to train you how to potentially make money consistently. No freaking swinging for a home run on every plate appearance. That makes 0 sense. You can go trade somewhere else, folks, where people do that all the time, and you'll blow out in a week. I guarantee you. Train and fight. So I'm going to blow through this because this is talking specifically about options trading, and I need to train you a little bit more before we get into that, okay? Thank you, creepy watch that listens to what I say. Okay, so train, fight, and then what do? We need to win, man. We need to win and profit. Duh. Or what? Get out for minimum loss. When that dude's engine failed, time to give that jet back to the taxpayers. I will show you before we get into any investment or position when we are leaving. Step 7 of our trade plan is what? Exit. I call that the Colin Powell trade, step. Why? George Bush the first, General, get Iraq out of Kuwait. Yes, sir. All right, have a good day. No. Hold on, Mr. President. You're not going anywhere. What's your question, General? When are we leaving? Why did General Powell ask that? Because he was a young junior officer in Vietnam getting his ass kicked, going, what are we doing here? So General Powell, to his exceptional credit, said, "Mr. President, I need to know right now before I even think about anything what victory looks like." And what happened? We booted Iraq out of Kuwait. These Iraqi soldiers, the highway of death. I've flown over Basra. It was turning into a horror. And then we did what? We stopped. What did some people, idiots in this country, say? No, keep going, go to Baghdad. But that would have destroyed the coalition. General Powell, General Schwarzkopf said what? We have hit our mission objective. We have hit our profit point. It is time to leave. Now, of course, his son brought us back there. Different debate. But ladies and gentlemen, step 3, train, fight, win, is get out for profit or minimum loss. My mission objective is to not take a big loss, okay? And we're going to talk about this when I teach you a little bit of the options trading, is when to get out, okay? And that's what these things are geared to. Go on, take the money, and run. Love the Steve Miller Band, okay? All right, so real quick, because I want to get, I gave you this is kind of your welcome aboard brief. We're not going to go through any of that stuff again, but, man, I wanted to cover, you know what? I don't cover quick trades, so I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to set up what we're doing for tomorrow, taking a look at options trading. Make sure everybody downloads all of those handouts. Print them out, especially the 12, I think it's a 12-page trade plan. I'm not begging you. I'm ordering you to read that before tomorrow. That's your required reading, because now we're going to start getting tactical and we're going to start trading. But I'm doing a disservice if I don't leave you with a little bit of stuff. I believe we have hit resistance up here at 4,200 on the S&P 500. I feel it. I'm talking to I have a mastermind group of people. These people should be running the country. Here's your final wisdom of the day, and this one will, if you're new to investing or trading, or you kind of dabbled and you've been smacked around before, it's because you don't know this sentence. You ready for this? This is worth the price of admission, which was free. Buy the rumor, sell the news. What the hell does that mean? I'll explain it. Buy the rumor, sell the news. How many times have you seen that? If you trade, you've seen that often. Amazon, for example, right? Buy the rumor, going up. You see that little E here? That means earnings. So going into earnings, Amazon had a nice climb. Buy the rumor. What happened during earnings? Oh my God, Wiz, Amazon knocked the cover off the ball. They were supposed to have really bad earnings, and they blew the cover off the ball. Sell the news. This is what's frustrating to retail traders. Oh my God, man, why is Amazon down? It's getting destroyed after reporting fantastic earnings. You didn't listen to the Wiz sentence, or you didn't know that one yet. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Now what happened? The market wakes up and goes, oh yeah, we did this. This is called trading, folks. Investing, you wouldn't have cared about this because I'm bullish on Amazon out 5 years. But if you're trading this stuff, it's buy the rumor, sell the news. Now what's going on? Yay. The market's going, yeah, Amazon knocked the cover off the ball. Let's buy it. But right in here, folks, it happens all the time. Let me, here, we have made, I have paid for a lifetime membership at Topkin Options in the past month and a half to 2 months, pounding Budweiser into the dirt. This wasn't hard either, folks. I'll show you my portfolios. We made like close to $20,000 in bearish Budweiser trades. And there's more to come. So this would be in the train, fight, win. Underneath the fight fundamentals, this is free money here, folks. And it's got lower to go. But something similar, like after earnings, this thing was hanging up here. Sell the news. What's the news? You can't give Bud Light away. I saw a meme the other day. It actually had like cases of Bud Light. It said, just take them. That's funny. So again, folks, this, investing isn't hard when you use the most critical portion, the most critical trading software you will ever deal with in your life is the 6 inches of gray matter in between your ears, or 8 inches for my Marine buddies. Look at that. Bud Light, just take them. Okay. But here's what I want to leave you with as your homework. Look at what's going on right now. This was Speaker McCarthy and Biden saying, we're not going to default. We're going to get a deal done. And then as we get closer to said deal, it's not happening. And look at the violence of the moves here, folks. Explosion, implosion. No, we're bullish. No, we're bearish. Most retail traders hate what's on the screen. This has been some of the most fun I've had in 30 years, other than the COVID crash, which was obscene. That was a month literally of like $50,000, $100,000 profit days. Hopefully, I'd love to have those again. I hope those never come again, because that means something horrific is happening. But here's what I'm getting at. Look at these violent ups and downs. This is a trading paradise. Investing, we're going to talk about on Thursday. I'm going to tell you what I'm investing in long term. But today, folks, here's what I'm getting at. I'm leaving you with as a little bit of homework. If you believe over the next, 8 days? So allegedly, June 1st is our, May 31st at midnight, it's over with. If we don't have a debt deal, we default. That would be catastrophic. Catastrophic. It would force us into a recession. The market would implode and the VIX would explode. So right now, I want you to do a little bit of homework. If you believe that can happen, you also believe that the VIX, the volatility index, should start climbing a little bit more. I mean, we're up 3% today. It's starting to get airborne. Okay? And you know what? I went 17 minutes too long, so we're supposed to go an hour. I hate keeping people past their time. I'm going to teach you 10 a.m. tomorrow morning how we're going to profit potentially off of this coming default. Even if we don't default, I'm going to show you how this is going to be like the Brexit vote. I don't even care what happens. The government ain't going to shut down or default too long. It will be resolved. But in the lead up to that, institutions, hedge funds, proprietary trading firms, family offices have to hedge against that probability, even though they're all looking at each other on the golf course going, it's kabuki theater, it'll get resolved. You can't have your account like that. Those positions, they actually have to get bullish on volatility. They have to hedge the risk that happens, because I guarantee you, if they don't, and it does happen, they're not on the golf course anymore. They're like the Duke and Duke brothers, who at the end of trading places. So we're going to be, you ever see a shark swim and it's got the little remora fish on the bottom of it? That's a pretty good life, man, when you can just eat for free and hang out with protected by a shark. So we're going to take a look tomorrow at what some institutions are doing to prepare for this. And again, folks, that ain't hard. If you sat here and followed a lot of that going, he doesn't seem too special. I'm not, and I'm not that smart. It's just, I can operate on stem power and in investing, as long as you kind of start looking at things critically and not believing necessarily what you are told. Okay? So my apologies. I went way long, and check this out. What did I not do today? I'm not selling you anything, folks. By the time Thursday comes around, I'm going to show you how you can be a member here. But my mission objective is actually to give you some basics of the battlefield. You want to arm up and get airborne with TGO? We can talk about that tomorrow or Thursday. I have zero interest in any of that. I wanted today to give you a level kind of playing field. So whatever it was, the 25% who were like, hey, this is a little bit new. Hopefully you got a little bit out of that and you kind of have a better, clearer picture. You have got to read the trade plan that I posted in the handout section over there. Okay. Over there, it says handouts, 3 of 5. Click on that. Download those now before I close the briefing room. And that is your homework. Okay. Your homework is to, the 12-page thing is the longest to read, and that'll take you 15 minutes. But the other things are nice. They're one-pagers. Print those out. Click print, take a look at your printer, and then print them out and have them ready for tomorrow, because we're going to step through our 7-step trade plan, and we're about to get tactical. Looking at my my members, though, I'd like, because I'm Marty Feldman. I got 2 eyeballs, right? One's over here, one's over here. I'm liking this price action, though, this hover here at 41.75. So if you're new to investing and trading and don't know anything about options, ignore everything I'm doing right now and don't do it. I like this one, folks, the 41.65, 41.60. Again, if you're new, ignore me. We might have to go up a little bit, though. I don't think we're going to get too much premium right there. $1.10. See, and it just bounced, though. 15.15. Again, I'll say goodbye in 1 second, but I'm looking at what's called a sniper trade right now on the S&P 500. That looks like a pretty good run right there, though. I might go up $5. $1.40 is pretty rich. I'm going to do this one, folks. For my current members, here's your weekly options trade, which is a day trade. I'm going to sell 15 of today's 41.75 puts, buy the 41.70s, $1.40. I'm risking about 5 to 54 to make 21. 68% probability of making that, and I'd fire this now before it runs away from us, because that's a good turn in the S&P 500. Now, if that just sounded completely Greek to you, I'm going to teach you this. I'm going to teach you this and how to do this, and it's going to be fun. This is actually fun, man. So if you're in the Lifetime group, I come over here and I drop this trade in here right now. And then I also put it in here to our other group that's called the Hunters. Okay. For everybody who's sitting here going, I have no idea what the hell just happened. Good. That's what I'm going to teach you. But I just placed a trade that could potentially make $2,100 today. And that's what you're going to learn here at Topkin Options. I love doing these sniper shots, but I don't live to trade, man. I take this sniper shot and I need to go on with my. Look at how we're doing. Look at this. This is the primary portfolio. The primary model portfolio is up almost $91,000 year to date. Trading volatility, trading some Goldman Sachs, a little Amazon, and then a hell of a lot of the S&P 500. That's just one of my. I think total we're up at over 250 grand across our 4 portfolios, but this one alone is at 90. I love this. But I'm going to teach you all this stuff, folks. Don't stress, man. I got you. All right, good. You got your homework. I appreciate this. This was hey, what's up, Russ? Proud to be a Phi. You got it, my brother. So good. I got an old fraternity brother in here as well. He's a Coastie. Incredible naval aviators, man. The Coast Guardsmen and women out there are just Semper Paratus. All right, I got to go. Download your trade plan. Look through that stuff tonight. If you can attend tomorrow or Thursday, I already gave you the replay page. Let me give it to you again. So you can. This replay will be posted up there. I don't know. Give me 20 minutes to stretch my legs and that type of stuff. But the replay page is right here. Okay. Yeah, it's etrade.com/TopGun. Right here. There we go. etrade.com/TopGun. Yeah, if you I can teach you how to be a fighter pilot, but if you're flying in an F-16, I'm flying in an F-18. All the concepts are the same, but it would be cool if you were in the same jet. We got people here at Thinkorswim, Tasty Trade, Fidelity, Schwab. We have a squadron full of different people, different brokerage firms. So it's just up to you. But I think this is a fantastic platform for options traders. Yeah, etrade.com/TopGun. And right now, folks, I placed that trade and it's up $400 as I speak to you right now. There's $400 in about 3 minutes. You're welcome. All right, guys, I got to go. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge. God bless. Fights on. Namaste. Basi, basi. I'll see you tomorrow for another free brief. Cheers.